Sorry?
We were talking about this question the other day.
Oh, pretty good. Wonderful.
And I think the answer will be knowing yourself. Or self-development, I like self.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
The translation is in English a little different than exactly this. As know thyself. As a sage once said, know thyself. And this is an important reflection for us. Because are we looking for to know ourselves? Or it may be just some words, so maybe some actions, maybe some feelings. What is knowing thyself or knowing ourselves?
Well, really looking inside of yourself, and knowing your true self, because we oftentimes have these models or these masks we create for ourselves, so we don't want to see who we really are, and we can change if we are not connecting to who we really are. Easy to say, not so easy to do.
What is the self? Let's start from the beginning. What is the self?
It's your own self. Your own person.
Is Erick the self?
Well, the self is us, our spirits.
The divine
immortal
essence,
spirits.
right? That each
Is Erick the self? Yes or no?
No.
No?
Well,
What is
you
that?
is
What?
The self is one of the parts.
It's a part of the self,
Yeah.
because it's a part of the
not just
being,
self.
right? It's the self living right now.
Mhm.
In another life, Erick might have been Bruno. It was part of the self as well, because
Mhm.
all the personalities, they are here for something. And Erick personality of today is here for something as well. But there is a being that's greater than just Erick. Right? That's why we try to differentiate that Erick right now is the ego, and the self is the immortal spirit, right? And does the immortal spirit need Erick?
Yes, of course.
Yes, that's why Erick's part of the self, right?
And that's probably, I think that's the last two sentences in the last of the extract of the book, right?
Mm.
Well, the last one actually, he says, use your life, right? Or do now, right?
Do it
using
now.
while using the human body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because after you pass aside, you will be more
It's
difficult.
going to be more difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why essentially we incarnate, right? To test our own abilities and develop our virtues, essentially.
Right. To put our knowledge in test, right? And when we fail, we learn that our knowledge is not that good yet. Or better saying, didn't touch the feeling. Because sometimes, let's take a very good example that lots of spiritists pass through. We are awesome people to motivate when someone has some relative who passed away to calm down, life goes on.
Comfort
not-
the person.
Right? We comfort the person, we help the person to find. What if it happens to me? And I don't have another one to comfort me. how do I feel when a very important relative passes away? Right? Because what is the difference? The knowledge I have, and I can even sometimes say the questions of the Spirit's book by heart. But did it touch my feeling? Did it really touch my heart? So then, when I go through that, are not just words, but the words became feeling. And then I can leave what I profess. It's part of the text as well, right? And sometime there he says, do you study Spiritism more deeply than you profess? Because it's always easier to tell the rest of the world what it is. And am I doing really studying, investigating, trying to find the feelings that connect me to that? And this is what we are here today specifically, because this is part of the know thyself. This is the process of each one of us to learn our way to learn. But it's not just a academical learning that we learn and then we can go in a test and write right or wrong, and a week later
It's all forgotten.
I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore anything about projecting screws as I did when I was in the engineering school. And just because I didn't like it. And then today, can I project a screw? No. But I have a certificate that says that I can. Right? Do we go with any certificate from this life?
No.
The only certificate is the feelings we develop. These feelings is what we call virtues. And these virtues are really not just learning them. It's a matter of learning and putting them in practice with exercise exhaustively until that exercise really become part of it. A good example we can use for the virtue of gratitude. Many people say, okay, it's just mechanical to say thanks. People just say thanks for everything. Well, what if you don't even say thanks in any occasion? Can't you start? Yes. So the mentor, Joanna de Angelis, says, yes, it's in the simple process that it starts. But as it evolves, gratitude becomes a feeling in my heart that in any occasion, even I am passing through the most struggling pain, the most struggling suffering, I can still find gratitude. That's what the Evolved Spirit says in the book Psychology of Gratitude. And then we come back and think, okay, so if there is this process of exercising, and I am noticing in myself something that doesn't make much sense, that really I'm struggling, it has been really tough to deal with. What do we do? Well, the answer is part of this question as well, the 919, but there is a 19A in this question. And that's what basically Kardec says. We know all the wisdom in this maxim, but the difficulty lies precisely in knowing thyself. What are the means to achieve it? And then, I would like to invite you because we will want to go through the text. But there is a beautiful example of Saint Augustine telling us what he did to achieve this in life. So basically his recipe which worked for him. Will it work for us? Maybe, maybe not. Each one of us have a way to learn. Fortunately, we don't need to develop ISO 9000 of ourselves because we are not the same. We change, and as we are different, we need to learn our way to learn. It's also a very important process. Okay, so bear this in mind, and if you are curious, go. We have a few days break here from FSS as well, so go investigate yourself. Try St. Augustine mechanism. Maybe you can adapt it to yourself. It will always help. With that said, yes.
Well, it'd be a good way to start because I think I said this today. A lot of times we don't really want to know ourselves, but that having that kind of guide that worked for him may bring for us reflection, and then we can bring to our own needs too, right?
The interesting thing is, let me make this question. Is there anybody who don't want to know itself or thyself?
And everyone that is not worried or doesn't have this concern of do better with this life, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of people that I've met, they don't care about it. Like they think that when you die, it's gone, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I bother to change myself or do it better because I'll die and it's done?
Mm-hmm.
Deep inside themselves, I don't know if that's how they feel, but that's what they say.
Yeah. There is a law called the law of progress. And this law of progress, or as we all know in the question 642 of the Spirit's book, Kardec asks, where are the divine laws written? And in the conscience. And that if the laws are in the conscience, but I am trying to get away from my conscience, yes, it's a process of masking that you said. But deep inside that person, there is still a law that never stops working. That's the law of progress. And the law of progress is inevitable. If there is one thing inevitable in creation, that we all will progress. Some might take longer, some might take shorter time, but everybody will progress. There is no way someone will be stuck for eternity, or from now on you'll be stuck in hell, burning because you made mistakes. That doesn't make sense. With a father, that's how we call God, right? Jesus called God as Father. A Father who is supreme love and supreme justice should doom us, should be stuck in the same situation for the rest of the existence. With a father, an earthly father, who is not supreme love, who is not supreme justice, would do that. No. No father would do that. To put a son or a daughter to burn in hell for the rest of their lives. So with that, as we transpose this to God, we understand that if I have this law of progress to push me forward, to evolve, to know me better, even though I learn just a little bit, the law is always working for me, for my own good. And as the law is working for my own good, I am having process of learning myself. Not maybe in a virtuous way yet, because I don't even understand virtues. I don't even admire virtues. Many people say that meekness is a weakness. Patience,
Sorry, in Portuguese is?
meekness, mansidão. Right? Humbleness is a weakness.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, I've heard people saying, oh, spirits wants to be like suffering and just to improve themselves and get forgiveness for their mistakes, but it's not in that sense, right? It's in
No.
the sense of practicing the virtues.
Seeking my own wants and healing them. Right? We had Alberto Almeida here in 2019. Was a great opportunity to have a well-known speaker from Brazil, and he was talking about the healing the inner child. It's the same thing. The wants that we have, they are just waiting us to treat them. But those wants are not as simple as the external one that we can see. That's why knowing ourselves helps to figure out where is the want. How can I solve it? How can I treat it? If I have actions of dislove, desamor, how do I treat it? Which kind of actions of love will help me to bring this love or convert this love to love? Because we're not fighting the dislove. We're not fighting the selfishness that we all have. We're not fighting the pride that we all have. What are we doing? We are understanding this feeling. That's why we know. As I understand this feeling, I bring the Spiritist knowledge, the gospel of Jesus as my support to overcome these difficulties. In other words, to treat the want. And this is why we say with Spiritism we have this pure water, right, that we can drink and really find ways to live better. Is it only Spiritism? No. We're clear with that. But it's a very, very resourceful tool. Very resourceful tool, which helps us to find this. As I mentioned, here is a big example, and another one is this invitation that we all read in to begin the study today. But we won't go through all the text. We will go through the very beginning examples that André Luiz brings us, and then, as you saw, we printed to everybody. So take these 2 weeks, enjoy the text. Try to answer the question sincerely for yourself. It's not for us here, but for your own good. Deixa eu botar aí nessa parte. Isso. Very good. Tá recebendo bastante passos ali. So let's take this text and do a little bit together, so we can exercise a little bit or bring up to speed. Right? Motivate you guys to do it at home. I promise that I will do as well on my side. it's a great opportunity for us to reflect on what are the Spiritists trying to achieve. So, would you like to join me? Otherwise, it doesn't get just my bothering voice all the time. So, if you wanna,
I just have to make a comment.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
in our lunch last week, I met a lady. I think her name is Musa.
Neuza.
The point is, she works with the homeless every Wednesday, which is a beautiful work. And then, like, giving food and
No.
clothes.
Nelma.
Nelma, right? We were talking with her. And interesting when she was talking about when they approach the homelessness and the homeless on the streets and some drug addicts, the first question they ask, which church are you coming from? Like, what is your church? And then she said, no, we don't come from any church. We just come to help you, help everybody that needs help. And then said, because there is church that comes here and they start swearing about what they try to preach, we don't want to listen none of this. So if you're coming to teach us something, even they say about Jesus, we are not interested. So that's the stage, the progress, right?
Mhm.
It's the same when we read like our Nosso Lar, Astro City, right? When he was in the umbral, he was suffering. The help came when he regret, he had the remorse, and he was clean, like asking deeply from the heart the help, right?
Yes.
So everything has your own time,
Yes. Yes.
even though sometimes we don't understand.
Everything has its own time, but what needs to be clear is, doesn't need to be in 10 minutes. It can be in 5, depending on my efforts, or could be 15 minutes if I choose to postpone it. So we gotta be sometimes just a little bit careful, because yes, that there is determinism in Spiritism. There is one determination. We will evolve. But when, depends on me. How I manage the time God borrows me or lends me.
O livro do trabalho, lei do trabalho, depende da gente.
So, connects the law of progress with the law of labor, that I need to work for my own involvement. Nobody can do that for me. That's my only responsibility. I can't change the others as well. It's important to know, because sometimes we come, and Spiritists are good on that, we come with this understanding that we are here to save the others. Can we save someone? No? Nobody? Nobody?
Ourselves.
Ourselves.
Others.
Only.
Even though we want to do this, right?
We can set example, we can show ways, as St. Augustine shows, but did St. Augustine changes us because of the answer of, pretty sure that helped a lot of people in 160 years. I'm pretty sure that lots of people got really motivated by his way of knowing himself and engaged in his practice. But doesn't mean that everybody who read it changed. Actually, most of us who read it are still doing the same. So let's get on the text. The duty of the Christian Spiritist is to become progressively better. It's a duty. It's a mission, as it is in the question 115 of the Spirit's book. Right? It's useful, therefore, to verify from time to time, with rigorous personal examination, our true self situation. Why some people don't want to look our true self situation?
they kind of know they're not gonna like it, what they're gonna see. And then you have to work on changing that. And work is not always easy. And yeah, you may not want to make the efforts that you need to do to change that.
And sometimes we are just fixed in our own passions that we don't want to like find ways to get away from those passions as well.
And those passions are important to reflect, because most of the time those passions are with second intentions. That's why I don't want to examine myself, because what happens, that's when we call it the mask. Because I really know I have a wand, but I'd rather just to tap the wand and don't even look a little bit how is it going, because I know it hurts. Because usually people who are in process of more evident passion, when they go through a very tough situation in life, the change becomes easier. That's why instead of motivating it, many people criticize, right? Oh, the guy what is the problem with that? Isn't it better than speeding? Oh yeah, for sure it is better than speeding. Is it where he will find all the resources to, I don't know, maybe he can find for him. Why do we criticize this type of situations? Oh, because it's evangelical? Well, there are many evangelicals that are way better than spiritists, I can guarantee you. As there are many spiritists better than many evangelicals as well. It's not because of the title, it's the person. We all have our problems, and we shouldn't be seeing each other with titles, because otherwise we'll just becoming the same of what in the past was criticized in India or in many other religions about the castas. Oh, you're not as bad, as good because you don't profess, you don't think this. No. We're all good. The only difference on the Spiritism, which we should think twice, is it a safe path? And this is why sometimes so many Spiritists call attention of other religious people, because of their abnegation. They understood well what Spiritists invited us through the Gospel according to Spiritism about abnegation. Let the ego go, let the ego serve the self and work for all. So this is something very nice, but that doesn't mean that Nietzsche should be a Spiritist. Just because they got a very nice text about the abnegation that there is in the Gospel according to Spiritism, studied well, investigated well, and applied in their own lives there. And this is why we're here. We're trying to get this knowledge and apply it to ourselves. So are we ready? We don't have much time left, so let's get in some more text. Spiritist who does not progress in 3 consecutive years remain inert. A palavra em português era estagnado. Inert can bring another interpretation, but stagnated would be awful there. So who wanna do this one? Read, please.
Test your own patience. Are you calmer, kinder, and comprehensive? And can you compare it to your own self from the past, right?
Yeah.
And more comprehensive, right?
Yeah. Comprehensive year.
Oh, okay.
Missed the R there.
You mean like understanding of others?
Yeah.
Oh.
It yourself and the others, right? This word in English is kind of brings a second
Interpretation.
can you see yourself calm?
It's a state of your own self, because this week I was thinking about if I see something in my own family, with my own family, that I don't really like or makes me mad, what about just accepting and understanding that that's the stage they are? You can't do anything. You can just like pray for them, give your opinion, but don't react because.
And this is a good point. As we learn, as we get more maturity in this process, we understand why it's calmer and not calm. Because I am still developing it. Am I calmer compared to what? 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 1 year ago? Am I calmer? Am I controlling more my impulses to when they do something that I don't like? Right? But am I completely calm? Well, probably not. I didn't really develop the whole virtue yet. Right? But am I getting better than I was? This is very important. And if I am in the impulse of,
Is the
oh, they
reaction
left all the dishes on the sink and didn't do anything for a week, doesn't mean that I will just pray for them, okay, right, they want to wash the dishes and I will keep
This is
being
hard.
their slave forever.
This is very difficult.
Right? I know, because it
It's a lot
happens
of
the same
lack
at
of
my house. I'm just giving the example because it's the same at my house.
It's worse when you work all day and then you get home, everything is just a huge mess and you have to work again.
Yeah. But I think that's the dilemma that all of us struggle, right? But the thing is, as I get this, am I being calm and kinder means, am I coming screaming at them and saying, you are a bunch of lazy, and, right? Start pointing the finger. Or am I gonna come and tell them, this is not right, I don't agree with this. Am I being kinder? Yes. And not screaming this time, at least. Am I being calmer as well? Have I thought twice what I would say before I start screaming? So this is a good point,
It's a good exercise.
right? Why this is important, guys? Calmer, kinder, comprehensive here. Just because we are not in a perfect world. We are in a trial and expiation world, evolving to a world of regeneration, which means struggles will happen in my life. And how I behave on top of those occasions will certainly show if I evolved or not. Because again, those are virtues. I'm trying to show feelings, noble feelings in my actions. Right? Let's try the next one. Inquire your relationships in the domestic experience. This is a tough one, eh? Prepare yourself. Have you achieved the highest state of peace at home? Bruno, você faz um favor para mim, vê se vai ter alguma coisa que eles queiram citar. Right? This is the answer. This answer, if it's yes, you're probably lying to yourself. But is it higher? Is it higher? We don't need to mask ourselves saying, yeah, I have a very peaceful home. just because my wife's never at home when I am, and vice versa. I was talking with a friend. I need another 5 minutes. Right? I was talking with a friend and he told me that the other day. I felt so bad because my wife started working in a restaurant and then last year, and then after she started working, our relationship improved. And I was like, oh my God, our relationship is so nice. Yeah, because she was working in the restaurant, right? Yeah, but doesn't matter. We are still, we live less time together. but
That's his example.
half of the time at home is peace because half of the time she's away flying. So.
But one important thing, when you are in the middle of the fire, can you think ways to set it off? To turn it off?
Or to
To
not
light it
increase
up.
the fire, because a lot of times we put more fuel to the fire.
Right?
It will be harder.
It's going to be harder. So if I step aside and have a little less heat in my life, is it easier for me to start noticing, oh my gosh, yeah, you could fix this, you could fix that, right? So, yes, sometimes spirituality helps us, giving us these calmer times so we can figure it out. The problem is when we get the calmer times, we just find something else to overburden. So, important thing, how is the state of peace? If it's always a war, should we be thinking, how can we have maybe less interaction, but with more quality? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Quantity will come as quality improves. Make sense? Investigate the activities in the spiritist realm, that are your responsibility. Do you cooperate with more joy in the Lord's harvest? And this is, I know that sounds like for spiritist workers or people who help or working, but that's for everybody. When to come here for a public meeting is a form of cooperation. You come with more joy, or still that, oh my gosh, it's snowing, it's cold, my kid's sick, at least
I'll
not
give an
sleeping on my lap.
I wish I could bring my boys. Like every Sunday, I wish I could bring them. And I used to fight. No, you're going. You are going no matter what you're going. You are still a child. You have to listen to what I'm asking you. Like, you're going. No, they're not going. And he starts a fight. Like this morning, yesterday, my son worked with him, and then he was exhausted at the end of the day. But he found energy to go to his friend's house.
Oh yeah.
And then he found energy, 9:39, walking. He doesn't know, he doesn't want to tell us which friend he's going, so he doesn't tell the address. We're avoiding a fight, but we had to meet him at Tim Hortons. So he walked 20 minutes to get at Tim Hortons on this morning. Right? But today he said, no, I want to sleep. But he had energy to go to his friend's house. And then if I say, you're going, the fight starts.
And that's what teenagers do, right? They challenge their own limits, and they challenge our limits. And this is why it's so hard for a parent to realize how to deal with a kid that doesn't have the choice to come or not. So often they will have the choice. But what about a teenager? How do I deal with a teenager? So this is our process of learning, right? I think we will be here, we will stop in here because we will have our... I was just going through other questions to set up, bless you, to set the example, but please take this text home. If you need the editable file I can share with you as well. Take this. It's a great opportunity. There are so many questions that brings us self-reflection. Okay? All right. So we have the kids then. But as we find more and more opportunities to reflect about our lives, it becomes more enjoyable. Não, eu preciso desligar, mas não precisa.
What did we do today?
Terry.
Terry?
What did we do today? Did we read a book? Did we?
We made a book. We made a book and we said.
And what's this book about? It's about
How
what
people-
did we do in the beginning today?
How people watch a movie. Watch a movie
About what?
about people. That help people. Oh, help people. And more people.
What's the name of that story again?
Backflip.
It's a story you guys know. You've seen it before several times.
I know.
Yes.
The good.
I volunteered 2 times. Compassion.
Good Samaritan.
I volunteered two. Eu não estava aqui 2 domingos.
Okay, so actually we're gonna need the parents' help. So we watched the parable of the Good Samaritan, and we made a little booklet called The Helping Hand.
What's that?
They started coloring the front and the back, and they can continue at home. So on the first page, it's the story that they're gonna read to the parents. Right, Lucas? Right, Annie? Yeah. So you guys are gonna read to the parents, and then they have 4 more pages to work on. So one is a real example of how they can treat someone the way they would like to be treated. It could be helping parents or friends. I can help, so a way they can help themselves or someone else. The next page is I can love. So maybe someone that they love and they treat the way they would like to be treated. And I can share something that they like to share. It could be books, toys, food, anything. So we are going to need the parents' help for them to finish this at home, okay? And they're going to read the parable to the parents. What is a parable again? Sophie, Annie, Lucas, what's a parable?
Parable is story.
A story, right? That teaches us something, right?
Yes.
And this one is from who again?
Sophie.
Who told this story?
The good?
The good
It's a tough word. Good Samaritan.
Good Samaritan.
And who told this story?
I think God and Jesus.
Oh, it was Jesus, right?
God and
It was God through Jesus.
Okay, good job, you guys.
Jesus.